Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be continuing our coverage of Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, playing until we reach Maelle's Nightmare. Before we get started, how was everyone's week?
I released a video game.
Holy shit, me too!
Whoa!
That's happening.
Yeah, that was a big thing. It was a lot of work. Sam and I were on a Discord call like hours before launch trying to figure out how to get the like icons, the app icons to work. We got most of them.
Yeah. There's a chance the one on Windows still doesn't work. I adjusted a few things when I made our day one patch because we had a day one patch because of course we did. But I adjusted some things, but I haven't been able to test it, so I don't know if it worked or not.
My mom wanted to buy it because she wanted to support me. But there's two problems with that. One, that requires using the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's having trouble doing it. She has managed to purchase it because she could do that on her phone, but then she was like, it's not letting me download it on my phone. I'm like, it's not a phone game. You have to use your computer. So we'll see if she's able to access that same web page with her computer. The second problem is that she might ask me what a furry is. The game mentions furries. My plan is to say, don't worry about it. And there's a good chance she'll accept that.
Yeah, I'm so incredibly glad that Possum Boy is out. And I'm also incredibly glad that every one of you listening has gone to big-knife-games.itch.io/possum-boy and clicked buy. And now everyone has bought the game and can enjoy it.
You can also just go to bigknife.games. That'll take you to the itch page.
True. I forgot about that. I set that one up and I forgot it existed. I do a lot of things and a lot of stupid, fiddly, techie things that I completely forget happen.
That's fine. For now, it is on sale. The price I set is the normal price I set is $12.99 because I feel like that's what it's worth. Probably I need to actually lower that price because no one knows who I am or anything, and no one's going to buy something from me for what it's worth. But it's on sale currently for $10.
And it's absolutely worth it. It is so good.
It is completely and totally worth it.
Anything else happen this week, Bernard?
I was doing laundry and I was like, whoa, I don't like the sounds coming from my washing machine. So I took a video and I sent the video to my parents and was like, do you think this sounds normal? And they said, no, I don't think that sounds normal. And I played the video for my bestie and he was like, I don't think that sounds normal. So I called a technician to come look at my washing machine and diagnose what was wrong. And he looked at it, he tilted it up and looked under it, he looked at it, he pressed the agitator down, he went through a whole bunch of factory settings on it to make it do all sorts of weird things, and he was like, it's fine. So I paid $88 for nothing to happen.
Damn.
That sucks. I hate when that happens. I had that with the maintenance here when I first moved in because my toilet took a minute to flush. Just the water would be swirling around for a whole minute, going super duper slow. And I was like, that doesn't seem normal. And so he came in, he's like, oh, there's something stuck in it. And he did the little thingy. And then he was like, all right, it's good to go. And he flushed it. And it still took a minute while he was standing there. And he said that was good. And he left. So I called my landlord and told his boss, and they came out and got me a new toilet. But it was very frustrating to have the quote-unquote professionals look at something that definitely doesn't seem right and say that it's okay.
That sounds infuriating.
I mean, I have no actual hard evidence that my washing machine isn't okay.
True. When it catches fire next month, you can blame it on him.
Yes.
How about you, Trish? How was your week?
My week was pretty great. I had the day after we recorded last week, one of my partners came into town, and we spent the weekend together, and we had a great time. A lot of fun things. I got a haircut. I have a side shave now.
Ooh.
And I love having a side shave. In fact, my only problem with the side shave is it's not big enough. I wish more was shaved.
How incredibly lesbian of you.
I know. I gotta stick to the theme. And then also we went to the movies, which was the first time I've been to the movies since my trip to Canada earlier this year. And I saw two movies in theaters. I saw Fantastic Four, and I saw the new Superman, which is not quite as new anymore, but still. And I'll probably go into these in greater depth at a later time, but my simple summary is Fantastic Four is a very well-made movie. It had a lot of really neat choices. I like how they adapted the characters. Superman made me cry, and it hit me emotionally in a way I love. It's not perfect. It's a James Gunn movie, and there's some James Gunn bullshit in there that I don't like. But it's the Superman movie we've been craving for a long time. I think it might be the best Superman movie. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to rewatch the old Donner ones to be sure. But yeah,
I need to see it. I still
it's
haven't gone.
really, really silly and fun, and about goodness and hope. Actually, no, I appreciate there was a thing that James Gunn said specifically about like how a lot of people have made their Superman movies about like the idea of hope, and his is much more about just goodness. And I definitely see that in the film, and I like that because hope is about tomorrow, and goodness is about right here, right fucking now. What are you doing right now? Which is much more of a Superman thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to take the kids and go as a whole family. So I texted the other half of the family and was like, oh, hey, should we go see Superman? And they were like, we already saw it. And I'm like, okay, well, I will take the kids when I have them next. So the next week comes up and I'm like, hey, kids, do y'all want to go see Superman? And they say, Mom and Andy took me already this week. So when Mom and Andy went back to see it a second time and brought the kids that time. So Storm is obsessed. He has adopted one of my stuffed wolves as Crypto and is doing all of these things. And I still have not seen it. I do live by myself.
So you're saying Storm is a crypto bro?
Yes, he's a crypto bro. I do live by myself 4 nights a week, so in theory, I could go and see it whenever I wanted to.
Also, it's also available not in theaters now. It's also available in other ways, so you can.
Then I want to watch it
absolutely
on my new
pay money. You can clearly pay money to Warner Brothers and watch it legally, if you would like to.
I non-ironically did that with the Minecraft movie because the other way we were going to watch it fell through and I didn't feel like messing with it, and I decided that was worth $15.99 and I just hit the button on Amazon. It'd be like that sometimes. But yeah, if it's available on digital, then I'll watch it on my new surround sound that I just got, where everything sounds awesome and it feels like I'm in a movie theater when I watch a movie.
I did make this clear how much I like this. I watched it on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I showed it to another of my girlfriends, and then on Monday, I showed it to my wife. I watched it 3 times in 3 days, and I'm still like, I need to show this to more people. I need to keep watching it because I love it that much.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
And Fantastic Four was all right. It was well made. It just didn't personally hit me in the feels. I feel like there's a chance it might hit you more in the feels because it's like about parenthood and stuff. But yeah, I'm also I have the downside of just not being a Marvel girl as much as I am. I'm not Jean Grey. I'm a DC girl.
Yeah, I heard about Fantastic Four that the worst thing about it is that it has to redeem the Marvel Universe and redeem the Fantastic Four for Fox movies and has to do all of these things. And what we got instead was a really good Fantastic Four movie, which kind of is buckling under the weight of expectation of all of the other things. So even though it's a really good Fantastic Four movie, it doesn't make anybody want to go watch the Eternals, so they'll know what happens next.
No, it doesn't at all. Literally, we were walking out of the theater. It was like, wow, that was really good. Yeah, they're gonna be like in the next Avengers movie or whatever, and that doesn't make me want to see it because I don't think they're gonna like. As much as part of me is like, I want to see this version of Johnny Storm be Tom Holland, Peter Parker's best friend. Like, I want to see that friendship happen on film. That would be great. But that means I'd have to watch a new Avengers movie, and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, when
I
I
might
bought
watch.
my,
I might look at for clips after it happens, if it happens.
when I bought my new TV for my bedroom, it's a 4K TV because the difference between a 720p TV and a 4K TV is only $40 these days. And so I paid the extra $40 to get it in 4K, and I wanted to test it. So I pulled up Thunderbolts, and I looked at Florence Pugh's hair that was resolved in fine resolution. I'm like, that's 4K. And then I turned it off. And that's the one that everybody says is really, really good. So I
Yeah, I'm
don't. I
curious to
just
try that
can't.
one out. Maybe I just so I don't care. Meanwhile, the Superman movie has completely sold me on the Supergirl movie that they're supposed to be doing. I think next year is when it comes out.
Yeah,
I mean, I was already interested because they're like, hey, it's a Supergirl movie. We cast Jason Momoa as Lobo, and I was like, what the fuck is Lobo doing in a Supergirl movie? And now I've seen the Superman movie, and I go, no, 100% Lobo has to be in the Supergirl movie. That makes complete sense.
Yeah, Supergirl is June next year.
June next year. Yeah, I'm definitely curious.
And Clayface is coming out September 11th, 2026. Don't forget.
Wait, no, what? No, there is it a Clayface movie?
Yeah,
What?
that's what Wikipedia
Why?
says.
I
Clayface
like
is a body horror
Clayface.
story about an up-and-coming actor whose face is disfigured by a gangster. As a last
Yeah,
resort,
that's
he
the
turns
story
to
of.
yeah.
Okay, go.
It
Okay.
is directed by it is directed by James Watkins. Has done some movies I haven't heard of. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited that I don't know anything about Swamp Thing, but that one's directed by James Mangold, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, I mean, I need to look at who that director is, but I mean, Swamp Thing is like huge part of DC history, and like, oh, that makes me excited. I want a good Swamp Thing movie.
James Mangold has directed a lot of highly regarded stuff. I mainly know him for The Wolverine 2013 and Logan 2017. Which I think both of those are really good. Logan is better, of course, but The Wolverine I thought was really good. It's the one where Wolverine goes to Japan to be sad.
Yeah, I've heard, I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of it. I should see Logan at some point, I guess.
Logan is so good.
I'll see Logan at some point, probably.
the 2019 Swamp Thing TV series is one of Summer's favorite superhero things. So
Ooh.
I'm excited.
I've been curious to check it out. I've been curious to check out the Swamp Thing show, if only because it is, I believe, the first time we've ever had a live action actor cast for the Phantom Stranger, who's one of my favorite weird, obscure DC Blorbos. Also, if I remember correctly, they had so an interesting cast as Jason Woodard, the Floronic Man, in that one. I'm trying to think of a segue to Clair Obscur so bad.
Well, you could just segue to me and ask me how my week is.
Oh, yeah, duh. Hey, besides releasing a video game, how's your week been?
My week's been really good. So at work, as you know, I've been dabbling in being a full stack web developer, and I stumbled my way into it, and I love it, and it rules. And like today, I really thought it was like mid-afternoon, and then everyone was like, "Hey, it's 5 o'clock. Where are you? It's time to record." And I had no idea because I was just plugging away, having a blast. But up until now, I was working on building the Legos that I needed to make the website, all the parts of the website, and I completed that. So now I'm just building things out of the Legos, which is going so smoothly and so fast, and it's so awesome. Where I went from, hey, look, I can put text on a screen when I showed it off a couple of weeks ago, and now it's like, here's an almost fully featured website. I'm running into some wonkiness, but that therein lies the fun of figuring out what's going on. Speaking of figuring out what's going on and having lots of fun. This isn't a segue to Clair Obscur. This is a segue to, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it because the name of the game is a visual gag, but the name of the game is capital O with an umlaut, little o. Don't know how they're supposed to pronounce it, but your main character looks like that. You're a caterpillar made out of bombs, and it's a Metroidvania where the power-ups are just you being smart and knowing more things about the game. It's a puzzle platformer Metroidvania, and you have a bomb that you can blow up, and you can move side to side, and that's it. So if you need to jump, you put the bomb underneath you, and you blow it up, and it shoots you into the sky. If you need to jump sideways, you put it behind you, and it blasts you over. And every time you're going through, and it'll be a incremental puzzle of like, oh, you need to jump, and now you need to jump sideways, and now you need to jump in this other different way that you had to figure out a new way to do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you'll get to to the end of the thing, and it'll just be a dead end. So then you'll go back and you'll look at your map, and things that you thought were dead ends or otherwise before, you now know, oh, because I incrementally learned to get here, that's no longer a problem for me. I now know the super secret thing. So you only ever are a caterpillar made out of bombs, and you manage to do an entire Metroidvania with all of the cool implications of that. And it's fantastic. If you're fairly good at figuring out puzzles, it's probably like a 2-3 hour thing. I think I probably did it in 2-ish. It says I finished it in 54 because I started it with the kids over the weekend, turned the TV off, but not my computer, and I finished it yesterday. So I have no idea how long it actually took me, but it's just a couple of hours, and it's an absolute blast. If you enjoy game design at all, it's the coolest magic trick I've seen in game design in a very long time.
I'm so intrigued.
Speaking of people who enjoy game design,
yeah.
The developers of Clair Obscur sure do.
Yeah.
They put so much game design in this game. Maybe too much.
Yeah, let's talk about Clair Obscur, the board game, the video game.
It will be blood of your life. Give up the knife. Don't be afraid of the passing time. There are so many different times.
Gustav wakes up in a beautiful meadow, having somehow survived the attack on the beach. He has some sort of coughing fit and hits his chest to snap out of it. As we explore, we find the continent is all sorts of weird and magical. Strange colors, glowy stuff, things floating which normally wouldn't float. The works. Gustav eventually comes upon some sort of plant-machine hybrid JRPG baddie who attacks. This is apparently one of those Nevrons we've heard about. I originally wrote, just because it's a phrase, who we've heard so much about, but we have not heard so much. We've just heard a little bit. Let's be real. Gustav summons his magic sword and gun and dispatches the Nevron in a battle which introduces even more mechanics than the tutorials gave us last time. This game sure has a lot of game in it.
So much game.
The outdoor hallway funnels Gustav into a cave, where there are countless bodies of expeditioners, including ones from Expedition 33. They've all turned to stone, or some material that looks like stone. They don't actually say, oh, they're stone. They just say, this is weird. Gustav collapses next to a pile of corpses, summons his gun, and holds it to his head. But Lune's voice tells him to stop. She says that even though they're the only ones left, they don't get to die. Gustav has lost all hope. He says it's only a matter of time. He quotes one of the many little catchphrases which are repeated in this game. We're already dead. Lune counters with another catchphrase. When one falls, we continue. Before they can continue quoting catchphrases to each other, a large Nevron approaches. Gustave and Lune fight it off, and we find that Lune has her own crazy battle mechanics completely separate from Gustave's. This game sure has a lot of game in it. After the fight, they use the Lumina converter, and it, absorbs the Nevron or something. I don't know. Lune says they need to get going. There might be other survivors at the rally point at the Indigo Tree. But before we can take a single step, we're tutorialized on Pictos and Luminas, two related yet different ways of equipping passive effects. This game has a lot of game in it.
That's the catchphrase for us covering Clair Obscur.
As we continue forward, we learn that there are flags planted by previous expeditions where we can restore our health and our limited items, as well as spend the attribute and skill points we earn by leveling up. Resting at one of these flags also makes the enemies we've defeated reappear on the field, so this game is also Dark Souls because it has a lot of game in it. Lune says there's something disrupting the chroma around here, so I guess chroma is another concept in this game's world building that we have to keep track of. Remember in Skies of Arcadia where literally the only concept was moons? Everything was just moons.
I do remember that fondly.
We have a lot more stuff here. In a cave, Gustave and Lune find more stone corpses and a weird white Nevron which is just sitting there, menacingly. Gustave wants to kill it, but Lune's like, what if we don't? Gustave finds a journal from Expedition 81 on one of the stone corpses, and it turns out it's like a voice recording. It's like a glowy diamond thing. When it was like, oh, a journal, you might think it would be like a book, like the journal that Gustave got at last episode that we didn't mention. But no, this is a weird glowy diamond thing that's a voice recording. It says they've been able to communicate with this Nevron, which could revolutionize their understanding of the Nevrons and the Paintress. Gustave muses that the dead don't disappear here like in Lumiere. Their chroma stays inside their bodies. So I guess you turn to petals and ash if you die in Lumiere, even if it's not from getting gommaged? Lune points out that the people the old man killed did disappear, though since he wasn't a Nevron, maybe it's something about the way Nevrons kill that affects our chroma. And I'm like, cool. What's chroma?
It could also be that, because everyone knows they're going to die next year anyways, that, why would you murder people sort of thing? Maybe it's implied that, everyone there dies from the gommage and not other things. No
one gets sick or has an accident?
No, they're in France.
It does seem to be. I mean, France has good healthcare and less of a car culture. So, anyway, the Nevron, who's named Jar, starts talking. It makes weird sounds, and we have to read the subtitles, but Gustave and Lune can understand it. It says a bunch of weird stuff that boils down to it just asking for light, which Gustave takes to mean something that can burn in its torch. This is our first side quest on the continent. I don't really remember what happens when you complete it. I think Jar just says some more weird, vague stuff about light and the Paintress, and we don't really learn anything. We just get some vibes.
We learn that this is a recurring side quest.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
All that we learn.
Yeah.
We gotta come back and do this again.
As Gustave and Lune exit the cave, they see the Indigo Tree in the distance, and flares being shot near it. Let's hurry! Side note, the Indigo Tree is absolutely not indigo.
Absolutely not.
It's like cyan or turquoise or something. I had a GameCube. I know what indigo looks like. Anyway, they reach the Indigo Tree and see an expeditioner running away from something. But he gets impaled on a pillar by a, bolt of a bunch of roots shooting at him. So that's bad. A giant Nevron appears and attacks. Putain de merde, as Gustave says. I love how they use French swears in the English dub. It's so funny. Good. Translator's note, merde means shit. After killing the Nevron, Gustave and Lune climb up the giant tree to see if there are any survivors hiding out there. All they find is an inscription on the trunk, the number 33, followed by, quote, took Maelle to the weird corals. Head north. Look for a door inside a hut, unquote. Lune is suspicious. If this were an expeditioner, they would have been following protocol, which means signing their messages and waiting at the rally point for 3 days. Gustav is like, my sister in Christ, we are beyond following protocol at this point. They were probably in a hurry to get away from that big fucking Nevron. They argue about whether to follow the suspicious messages instructions or follow protocol. Lune says there's a reason it's the protocol. It's designed to yield the optimal result in the vast majority of situations. And Gustav is like, was everyone fucking dying part of the optimal result? Gustav says he's going after Maelle whether Lune likes it or not. Also, protocol says never move solo, so Lune will be breaking protocol whether she stays or comes with him, so it's up to her. Kind of a dick move. Lune says merde and follows. We leave the meadows and find out this game has a world map. A JRPG-ass world map.
Love it. I've
It's
missed
wild.
world maps.
It's delightful.
It reminded me a lot of, like, Bravely Default 2.
Uh-huh.
I need to play Bravely Default 2.
I like it so much more than Bravely Default 1, and I think Bravely Default 1's pretty good.
I really like a lot
I never
of parts
played
of Bravely
Bravely
Default
Second.
1. I haven't either. That's what's frustrating. It says Bravely Default, Bravely Second 2, and Bravely Default 2. I don't know which direction go in.
As we travel, a tutorial window instructs us to press down on the D-pad and set up camp. As they prepare the fire, Gustav apologizes for his dick move earlier. He says the beach wasn't her fault. But Lune says it was. We might remember from last week that the path the expedition took was all her idea. So, oof. Gustav's like, let's rest a bit, but the moon is bright, so let's keep moving, even though it's night, because I want to get to Maelle as quickly as possible. Lune's like, that's stupid. We have to be careful. We've got Nevrons and a freaky old guy trying to kill us. Gustav seems to think that's exactly why they've got to hurry. So many of their friends died, and he's not going to let Maelle die out here. He's taking her home. So, yeah, turns out Gustav has given up on the mission. Gustav, our plucky JRPG hero who has all the hope and wants to change the world and stuff. He's given up.
Rough.
Lune is appalled. She reminds him of his oath. When one falls, we continue. When, not if. As long as even one of us lives, the fight is not over. Gustav just wants to save Maelle at this point, but Lune says Maelle swore the same oath and asks if Gustav still believes that the future of Lumiere is more important than any individual life. Gustav says, I hope I do.
I mean, honestly, I do really like this scene, and when I say I like this scene, it means I like Lune specifically.
Lune rules.
Yeah, she's
Awesome.
fantastic.
I like how she just gets a little more screen time or mention in the prologue than the other expeditioners. Just a tiny bit. But then it turns out, no, she's your second party member. She's a very major character.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, Gustav and Lune continue to the Flying Waters, a place that's like the ocean, but on land. It's like they're in the water, but walking and breathing normally. There's fish and bubbles around them, so it's not like the ocean is just above them. I think what we got to do is not think too hard about it.
Yeah,
It is very pretty, though.
There were a couple shots where the bubble things were going past and they were wobbling like they themselves were bits of water. So I think it's like an inverse ocean thing, and the fish are floating because magic and going through the air.
That actually makes some sense. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, whale in game. There are whales here.
So many whales. This was a week for me with whales in video games because I'm showing Scarlett Final Fantasy X. So I've got a lot of good whales. By good whales, I mean bad whales.
Yeah, Sin is a bad whale. Decidedly. Eventually, Gustav and Lune find a hut with a weird ornate door inside, just like the message said. When they touch the door, instead of just going to another place by going through the door, they go through to another place because of magic. They appear in a weird manner, which is not to say the manner they appear in is weird. They appear in a building that would be described as a manor.
I see. Yes, exactly.
Gustav and Lune wander around the manor until they find a room with a figure sitting at a desk, staring at one of those expedition journal things. It's Maelle. She turns and asks if Gustav is real. He runs up and hugs her. After their emotional reunion has gone on long enough, Lune asks Maelle how the heck she ended up here. Maelle says it's all a blur. After the beach, she just woke up here with ... The most horrifying figure you've ever seen walks up.
I think he's cute.
He's a tall Slenderman type of dude with a giant hole in his head where his face would be. He makes terrible groaning, growling sounds and is just so spooky.
Well, I think, okay, on an completely unrelated note, when my girlfriend was over staying with me, I did show her the first season of Marble Hornets, which was a thing I was obsessed with in high school. So that might have an answer as to why I look at this guy. I'm like, cool, neat design. I like him.
Maelle likes him too. She says he's chill. He's been helping her with her pictos and such. Lune asks what the heck he is, and Maelle's like, I don't know. He doesn't really talk, but he's chill, I swear. Lune says the chroma around him is quite different from the Nevrons, which presumably means something. This scary guy is called the Curator, apparently. He walks away, menacingly. Maelle joins the expedition, and they head for the exit. The Curator blocks the way and makes scary sounds at Maelle, which she takes to mean he wants to have a training match with her. We spar with the Curator, which gives us a chance to learn all about Maelle's unique battle mechanics. This game has a lot of game in it. I'm just sort of saving all the mechanics talk until memorable moments, because
Good idea.
It would really bog it down. After the fight, Maelle's like, hey, you should follow us around and show up when we make camp and let us use the upgrade items that we've been finding and looking at in our inventory, wondering how to use them. The Curator makes some scary sounds and disappears. The expedition leaves the manor, and they're discussing what to do next, but suddenly a Gestrel appears. What's a Gestrel? Why, it's a mythical creature that's some sort of little gnome puppet dude with a giant paintbrush-like tuft of hair on its head. Lune's like, holy shit, it's a Gestrel. Maybe the Grandis and the Esquier exist too.
Those are words.
They sure are.
I love when a fantasy thing just throws proper nouns at me like this. Affectionate, also mocking at the same time.
So this Gestrel, whose name is Noko, is an acquaintance of Maelle's. Noko speaks weird gibberish with subtitles, sort of like Jar did, though some of his gibberish is actual words from the dialogue, which is weird. It makes you think
it was French.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a different type of gibberish. Lune wants to go see Noko's village and meet the other Gestrels, but Gustave's like, we're supposed to be going after the paintress? Noko says he'll have a hard time getting to her without fins, so yeah, there's another body of water between here and the paintress. After some prodding from Maelle, Noko says they should go to the village chief for help. Lune gets to meet more Gestrels. Yay! Also, turns out Noko is a merchant, and we can buy stuff from the Gestrel merchants, but to get their best wares, we have to beat them in a duel. Okay.
One-on-one duel, specifically.
Yes. After maybe kicking Noko's ass and buying stuff from him, the expedition continues through the flying waters. As they near the exit, a boss Nevron appears, because it's the end of the dungeon. There's this whole thing about how it doesn't attack until Gustave messes with the conspicuous rose growing in the area. After the fight, the Nevron stops attacking, and Lune tells Gustave to stop killing it. Maelle becomes suddenly entranced by the Nevron and approaches it, holding up her hand. It suddenly jumps far away, which Gustave takes as a threatening action. So he shoots at it and chastises Maelle for being weird. She says the Nevron felt familiar somehow. There's something going on with Maelle.
There is, but also I don't know. I think if you break it down, what Gustav did feels fairly logical, and yet also he just came off like a huge dick.
Yeah. As we leave the flying waters, we're greeted by a very freaky title card that says Maelle's Nightmare. It's a weird, grainy black and white thing where we see some characters that I don't think we've seen before. It ends with Maelle screaming at the monolith. Now we see Maelle standing on the edge of the camp, looking out at the monolith. Gustave walks up. She says that being out here isn't what she expected, and death out here isn't like death in Lumiere. Gustave muses that the gommage feels gentle and predictable, lures you into complacency, but it's just as violent, and the death is just as final. Maelle admits she's been having nightmares, and Gustave says he has too, and I'm like, yeah, you probably both have PTSD. Gustav tells Maelle to run if she's in danger, especially if she encounters the man from the beach. She says, okay, only if you do the same. Gustav's like, are you kidding? If I see a strand of white hair, you won't be able to see me. I'm running so fast. Maelle says she could outrun old man Gustav any day. And Gustav says there was a time when 30 was young, you know, and Maelle's like, sure, Grandpa. So we'll go meet some Gestrels next week.
Hell yeah. But first, let's listen to some music and then talk about our memorable moments.
So, one thing I love about this game that it made me realize other games are kind of bad is characters actually speak over each other in cutscenes.
Yep.
Why don't characters do that in other games? We do that on the podcast plenty.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, like they don't do it in games usually because it's hard to record that way and get clean recordings. But I'm glad that 20 people from France figured it out, because then we should now expect it from people that are a lot bigger than 20, because it's good.
Yeah, it was so good. Like the scene where Lune keeps trying to say there's a reason it's protocol, but Gustav keeps cutting her off with protocol is stupid.
It's so good. I love that bit. It's a really neat choice. In general, the dialogue and the cutscenes feel very well performed. Like they're not just enjoyable, but they feel very real and help you connect with the characters.
Yeah,
what do we want to?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I really enjoy the oh my god.
We both waited the exact same length of time. Go ahead, Bernard.
People talk over each other in regular conversations.
Especially when they can't see each other and there's recording delay and stuff. I really enjoy the character arcs that are going on this week. I like how Gustav was our plucky JRPG hero, but then just immediately got crushed by reality and now is having to pick himself back up. I think I love it.
Yeah.
But
do we want to... We're cursed. Bernard, you fucking cursed us.
And the best part is this isn't nearly as laggy as it was on the Lost episode. They just happen to keep waiting the exact same time.
Okay, I was gonna say, Bernard, do you... what I was gonna say before, which is, do we want to talk about the different characters' mechanics? Because every party member in this game has their own completely unique, like, fight mechanic thing going on. And two of them are very interesting.
Yeah, Gustav's is very simple, I think, because he's the main character, and you know, it makes sense for him to have the simple one. So Gustav's is just his different attacks can build up different amounts of charge, and when he gets to 10 charge, he has a special attack that does a shit ton of damage. So you're trying to balance his action points, which determine which special moves you can do, with building up charge, and you want to get to 10 charge and still have enough action points to do the big special move. I think it's interesting.
I think doing perfect dodges or counters also gets you charge.
You have a Picto equipped or something that does that. That's one called Dodger.
I think that gets you AP, not charge.
It gives you AP. Okay, never mind then.
So yeah, I think he does get good charge.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
fucking know anything about this game.
I don't know.
I also like that Gustav's is so simple, but also really strong. So you, engaging with his mechanics when you're in a boss fight or something feels rewarding. But also in your regular battles, Gustav can be the one that wastes all of his AP shooting the weak points.
Yes,
He can be the
exactly.
one that does the items. He can use his like support abilities are very cheap in regards to action points as opposed to Lune's, which cost more. So it's like he can be like kind of everything when you get to his turn, while you let Lune and Maelle deal incredibly gigantic amounts of damage.
Yeah. So Lune is sort of Chrono Cross and sort of
Yeah.
weird and really hard to use.
Really
Yeah.
hard to. I don't understand her mechanics very well, and I feel like that's because I'm just gonna say I don't know if the UI for it and the way that it's communicated to you in game is necessarily the clearest way they could be doing it. Like, I feel like there's an easier way of handling this. Because she generate when she does different kinds of attacks, she generates basically like colored mana from magic for different elements. And having those can activate special secondary abilities on her abilities if you have the right kind. Kind
Yeah.
of.
And like you'll use a fire attack and get a fire stain, but then you can spend a fire stain to make a ice attack more powerful, and it's weird and I haven't gotten the hang of it. I've been trying. My idea with building Lune has been to pour a bunch of attribute stats into her speed or agility, I think they call it, so she gets to move more often, which the idea is that I'll be able to actually build up stains and then use them if I'm doing that. But I don't know
I
if
am
it's going to work.
mostly ignoring the stain mechanic and doing something else. So build-wise, I've made Gustav the most boring Mario. His stats are even across the board kind of guy. And Lune, I am making wildly unbalanced by putting a ton of points into damage and luck, which is your crit rate. And I didn't even realize this would work out for me. But if you, on her tech tree, because all the characters have their own skill trees that are all very different in how they're laid out, her like skill tree thing, one of the things is like electricity moves. And I think with electricity moves is whenever they crit, like they do a bunch of hits, like they do smaller damage, but a series of them. And anytime you crit, you get another hit.
Oh.
So if you get her crit rate to, I don't know, 20% like I have, and you do the one that's like hits the person 8 times, you're not hitting them 8 times. You're going to hit them like possibly like 14 times and do an obscene amount of damage. It's great. I love it.
One thing I like about this game is that there seem to be multiple things that make it where, doing 3 hits for 100 each and doing 1 hit for 300 each are actually significantly different. Like the shields that enemies get over their health bars, where it just flatly blocks any damage one time.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that mechanic.
It's very cool.
I encountered a group of enemies that was 3 of those big shieldy Nevrons that can put shields on each other. Fighting 3 of those in one fight was so annoying. I loved it.
It was very interesting mechanically. And then oh god, I'm forgetting her name already. Maelle. Thank you, my sister in the chat, for having written her name in a random message. Maelle's mechanic is that she has stances, where different abilities she does switches her stance. And the different stances have different abilities. Her offensive stance, she does more damage, but she takes more damage. Her defensive stance, she accrues more AP over time. And then she has like a virtuoso stance, which is like her ultimate thing you can get her into. And when she's in that, she does double damage.
Yes, and there's no downside to it either. I love it. It's so cool how you're just like, you have an ability that under certain conditions will put you in virtuoso stance. And then you have another where the secondary ability, if you like, I think it's like if you use this ability against a burning enemy, you'll stay in virtuoso stance. Also, burn is so cool. And
burn is really cool and useful.
all the status effects are really cool because they all interact in interesting ways and interact with your abilities in interesting ways. Like we're excited about using status effects against enemies in an RPG.
It's wild.
So, on the one hand, I am very, very like blown away at how much game they have in this game and the way that they're doing things creatively. The other hand of me is a hipster, and it was like, Super Lesbian Animal RPG did all of these first.
You're not wrong, but that's not. Hey, anyone who's listening, if you've never heard of this much less well-known game than Clair Obscur, please play Super Animal RPG.
Super Lesbian Animal RPG is a great video game.
It really is. But like in that game, everybody had their own unique play style. There were a bunch of different unique status effects that affected the other status effects in interesting ways. I'm just saying, Bobby, is that their name? I think that's right.
Her name, Bobby. Yeah.
Her name, yeah. Bobby is ahead of the curve. Real freaking good game.
Real freaking good game. Also, you brought up earlier, Sam, regarding the game mechanics and fight mechanics here. There's Persona 5 shooting happening, but unlike Persona 5, it doesn't take up your turn. It is a side thing you can do, but it eats up your AP points, which is what your skills run off of. So it's one of those and enemies have weak points, and if you aim and shoot it correctly, it does more damage, and it can open up weak points in their whatever the hell thing. Or there's certain enemies who are carrying around mines like they're balloons, and if you hit it, it'll not only hurt them, it hurts all of the enemies. Or there's another one that you hit, it does a status effect on all the enemies that makes it so their attack will go down. There's a lot to it as a mechanic. It's really interesting. And I also just make Gustav do all the shooting.
Yeah, the best part about having it is each bullet only takes 1 AP, and so you'll start a boss fight, and he's like, I have 3 shields, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I start with 4 AP, I'm going to shoot you 3 times. Ta-da! Go ahead, Maelle, fuck him up. It's very good.
I look at these mechanics, and I just think it is horrifying to think how broken people could get this game for speedruns
for sure,
stuff. Because there's so many things where this effect applies burn, and then this will mark the enemy if they're burning, but then if it's marked, they do extra damage, and there's just, you can set up these enormous chain reactions if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but presumably some people do.
Did either of you find a mime?
So I was about to tell the story about...
I found a mime in Lumiere.
I was about to tell the story of the 3 super bosses this week. Did y'all find all 3 of the super bosses this week?
I found 2 of the super bosses. I found 1 mime and then 1 boss who kicked my fucking ass, but I still managed to win.
I found the mime and I found the trumpet guy. I don't remember a third.
Mime is the trumpet guy. Oh wait, no, you mean... Oh, you mean the other trumpet? You mean the trumpet? Yeah, I found mime and trumpet guy. Yes.
Yeah. So the mime is hard, but I beat him the first try. It's a really cool thing. You get Gustav's French ass outfit if you win. So I was like, okay, optional boss over here gave me a cool thing. That was a lot of fun. So we go to the next one, and Luna is like, this one seems really strong. We should come back later or something. And I'm like, nah, I got this. And it was really, really hard, but I beat it after 6 tries. I was always within grasping distance of getting them. So I knew I could if I tried hard enough. And I eventually did. I had to perfect dodge every single time, but I did manage to get him. So then I'm on the overworld. And on the overworld, they say, go to the weird coral. And there is some...
Yes, I know exactly what you're going to say.
Actual weird coral where we're supposed to go. But then there's some weird pink rock things very close to where we are that is also basically directly north of us. So the weird coral to the north could have meant either one. But you go to to this one, and it says, danger. Do not enter. Big and red across your screen. This is not a good place to go. But I'm like, aha, you see, I have beaten the other 2 super bosses. I will go in, and I will kick this guy's ass. So I go in and I go up against somebody who has a big, and he's a abyss, which is the pissant enemy of the whole game so far. You get like those are just Goombas. They show up. There's like 4 of them. They have a very rhythmic attack, so they're easy to dodge. They do no damage. They die so fast. They are nothing. And the first super boss was the mime. The second one was the chromatic lancier, which is one of the hard Nevrons that we've been fighting. So this one, being the chromatic abyss, you're like, this is going to be so fucking simple. So I start, he has a big glowing eye, and I shoot it, and I deal 9,000. And his health bar doesn't fucking move. He just has billions of HP. I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way. I'm not doing this.
You cut out after you said 9. I'm guessing you said like 1,000 after that.
It's 9,999 damage.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to put it. So I think, from what I understand, there's at least in the area we covered of the game so far, there's at least 2 mime enemies. They're scattered throughout the game. And all they give you no experience basically, or very little. What they give you is stuff. You got a wardrobe thing for Gustav. I didn't. The one I beat, I got a haircut for Maelle. They're how you get different accessory things. I should also say that when I found the mime, I was like, what the fuck is that? I see it, and I'm like, is that just part of the scenery? Because some of the scenery just looks weird around here. This could just be a statue. And then it starts walking towards me, and I have the most horrific instinctual fear reaction. And when you said it's hard, it is up until you learn, because it's basically a great way to learn the break mechanic, because there's another fucking mechanic to learn about, where enemies have like a break meter, and if you do enough of specific, like some attacks specifically do more damage break wise and fill it up. And basically until you do it, you've broken it and filled up its break meter, the mime takes like next to no damage from anything you do. Its defense is absurdly high. But then once you break that, it's really easy to kick the shit out of it.
Yeah.
There's actually a mime in Lumiere as well in the prologue. If you just like wander up to it, and Sophie's like, oh, this is weird, and then it starts attacking, and Sophie's like, Gustav, help, and then you kill it as Gustav, and they're like, whoa, we just killed a mime. Oh, hey, there's a record, and it's a record that has the Lumiere song on it, and you can play it in camp.
Oh, that makes sense, because there's a record player in camp, but when I went up to it, it was like, oh, you can't, you don't have any records, and I'm like, then why did we bring
brought a record player but no records?
Speaking of music, did you guys play the piano in the curator's house?
Yes,
it
I
changes
did.
depending on who your lead character is.
Yeah, and it does the thing where as you press it, it's a different note each time, but it is a different note of a really long and involved actual piano piece. So if you just sit there mashing A, it plays real music. It's amazing.
It's also, speaking of music, the fight themes in this game are amazing. I've had so many times where I got into a fight and I was like, oh, this rocks. Oh, this is a jam. I'm loving this.
Yeah, there's one where it starts like low and quiet, like it would be in like a sad part of a different JRPG, and then around the end of the first or second turn, it like picks up with like electro in the background. It's fucking cool. I like it so much.
Also, there was a field song that had English singing in it. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
This game's supposed to have French singing.
Can I now complain a little bit about the game?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a couple of small things. One, I got lost in the coral area so many times because this game looks gorgeous. I love the atmosphere of all the places we go to. The aesthetic design's great, but also it's really easy to just go between the same couple of places over and over again and not figure out where you're supposed to go because everywhere looks the same. I got turned into circles over and over again because I could not figure out what was a place I'd already been to and what place wasn't.
Yeah, and there's a lot of optional places to go, and not all of them feel like they're optional when you get there. And there's specifically one in the coral place. There's a toppled apartment building in the middle of a
Yes.
area, and on that apartment building, there's a record you can find. I think it's something like that. Some extra thingy up there. It's not important, but as you walk by it, your controller vibrates because there's a hook shot up there. And when you hook shot up there and you walk around to the other side, there's another hook shot. But because everything looks the same, you don't realize it's taking you back down where you were. And so I fucked up like 4 times trying to figure out what the hell I was doing, and what it was going in circles.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the problem a little bit, not that bad.
Yeah,
I had
I
it.
don't think I had it enough where I didn't write it down where it was a problem, but I do specifically remember that time where it was bad. And I did one time think I had finished the coral dungeon, and I walked out of the front door of the coral dungeon.
No,
Oh my god.
I got to a point where I was like, I literally can't figure out how the fuck I'm supposed to proceed. I feel like I've gone everywhere, and so I just left out the front door. And I was like, no, that's not. I was on stream with multiple people I know who played the game, and they're like, no, you have to go back in. You have to go out the other way. I was like, okay, and I go back in, and I discover that I like one of those little flag things that you can fast travel to. One of them was right in the it was at the start of the area you go to next, and I didn't go down further that way because I looked like a place I'd already been, and so I was like, "Oh, I had to explore here already."
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way to say this that doesn't sound condescending, but y'all do know there's a compass, right?
No.
I do. Well, here's the thing. Yes, there is a compass. Wait, is there a compass also? I know there's one on the overworld. Is there one
Yeah.
when you're
You
in
press
the...
triangle and it brings up a bunch of stuff. That's where you can use your
am
chroma
playing with my
potions and
keyboard.
stuff. Well, I don't know.
I'm
There's a
playing with a
button on the
keyboard
keyboard.
now.
Then you can look it up what it is, and it brings up a HUD, and that's where you can use your chroma potions, which fully heal your whole party. And there's also a compass there.
I never noticed the compass. That's going to help a lot. Thank
Oh
you.
my
That
God.
would definitely help. Yes.
Yeah. I
I
did
will
not notice.
say this. I don't know if it specifically called out the compass, but this screen I'm talking about was tutorialized.
Yes. I have used it for other things. I just didn't notice that there was a compass on it for whatever reason. Because I thought at one point during this week that it was kind of cool and ballsy of them to have the mazes with no mini map or compass or anything. So you just had to figure out where you were going. And that's apparently not true. It is it was still fun to have to hold it all in my head, but I didn't have to do that.
I mean, there's not a map. You do have to hold things in your head to an extent, which I think is fun, even though I have a terrible sense of direction. But there is a compass, which can help you.
I feel like that would have maybe helped a bit, but I don't know how much it would have helped because I rely much more on just, does this look like a place I've been? And everywhere looked like a place I'd already been. But my other complaint I had, my other issue I ran into this week, first of all, I don't like how the dodging / parrying system was tutorialized, because it does the thing I hate with timing things, where they tutorialize it to you by doing we're going to stop things. This is when you would do it. And I'm like, okay, but I can't figure out. You froze time. That doesn't tell me when the timing is.
Yeah.
And that turned into a bigger issue when I realized the more battles I did, that the timing of these, it feels really janky to me. And I think it's because it is based off of, it feels, from what I said, kind of Dark Souls-ish, like how the timing and stuff can work in dodge rolls and stuff there. And that's not a series I've really touched. I am constantly being like, how did that hit me? I'm 5 feet away from the attack, but apparently I hit the dodge button a second too early, and it doesn't count. And I'm like, but I didn't hit me! I can see on the screen!
Yeah. That's a common complaint. In fact, there's a really good Aftermath, I think it's Aftermath, of the article about, do we actually need parry mechanics? And it's a very good dive in using this game as an example of how they've shown up in everything. We don't necessarily need them. But dodge instead of parry, dodging is much easier to hit, and I can usually...
dodging almost exclusively.
I usually can read just visually when they're coming at me. I can do a dodge. I have hit the parry in tutorial, and that's it. But every other time with dodge, I can usually figure it out.
So I encountered this one boss. I forget what it's called. I don't know. It had a trumpet, and it was called something to do with trumpet.
Yeah, that's
And
the second one that Sam mentioned.
I don't think so. I'm not remembering
Oh,
anything
no?
about the trumpet.
Sam mentioned a
remembering-
Lancelier or something.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I fought this guy then. This is the only the mime and this guy are the only bonus bosses I did. The troubadour, my sister's saying in the chat. Yeah, this troubadour was an asshole.
Yeah, so the attacks have really weird timing, and it's clearly on purpose that they're like, yeah, this guy's attacks are gonna have really weird timing. Like he'll like do really weird wind-ups, and he'll do something where like he shoots things at you, but then rushes forward and hits you before the things that he shot at you come and hit you. So
Yep.
it's just the dodging is all weird. The problem is this game is really dangerous because you can infinitely retry the battles. And also, you can theoretically avoid all damage.
yeah.
So
I
you
also
can
thought
just keep being like, I'm totally going to dodge his attacks this time. I did eventually beat him, but yeah.
Oh, I beat the troubadour. I looked up since I had the name because I didn't want to just Google bosses in Clair Obscur. But when I looked up the troubadour, I did beat him. I thought he was critical path. I didn't consider him a super boss.
Yeah, he's optional.
Yeah, didn't notice.
Yeah, I luckily didn't die to him, but I had to use like all of my revives, and like I used so much stuff to stay alive. I got to that JRPG spiral of having to use my turns, bringing back up other people. But I did manage to win in the end, and yeah, the dodging on that one even more than a lot of the other characters. Oh,
So do y'all know? So one cool thing about this game is that you don't have items, you just have Estus flasks. Which you have your tints, which are essentially just like healing and buff items, but you just have a certain amount of them, and when you rest, they refill. It's really cool.
yeah.
And you have to get special items like on the critical path, or maybe on optional bosses later, that upgrade the tints. After I had gotten past the part of the game where it's possible to get got by this bug, Maddie Grace was like, hey, don't get got by this bug. There's a bug where if like the final enemy of this, the final boss of this chapter we played, you get a healing tint upgrade item from it. This is if I remember correctly. And if you don't use it, turn off the game, turn the game back on, you won't have the tint upgrade item anymore.
Weird.
But if you've already used it, you're good. And if you haven't turned the game off, you should be good, is my understanding. And apparently, I don't know if it's been patched.
Yeah. I have no idea because I'm refusing to look things up about this game.
Also, Sam, you said earlier, I want to counter the point of like, do we need dodging and parrying in games? And I want to counter that with Paper Mario.
Yeah,
because I think
it's also important to know that Paper Mario games are an exception that proves the rule. Because Paper Mario is good, there's a lot of parrying in games that don't.
That's true. And I think the difference is, especially between like this and what they do in Paper Mario, is because in Paper Mario you're just guarding. Yes, Maya, my sister in the chat said Paper Mario has parrying. Yes, in Thousand Year Door, you can super guard, which is basically parrying. It is a more precise version of the guard that if you do it, you take no damage and the other person gets hit. The person who hit you gets hit. It's really difficult to do, but it is the ultra strat to do, basically. But anyway, the thing about guarding is it's guarding. And so, like, knowing if you hit the timing or not, like, it feels not arbitrary, but like when the game says you didn't hit the timing, you can usually believe it because there's no visual way to tell as much. Where with this game, the thing that is so frustrating is it will be like, you didn't hit the timing window, but there's a dodging animation that happens on screen, and my character is so far from the attack that the idea that it hit me anyway feels ludicrous.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're taking battle visuals as a representation of reality in a JRPG, which is turn-based.
Because I need it for timing. Listen, I would not care if it wasn't a timing thing, and I'm trying to hit the right time. And if I hit it, and like, oh, I definitely got it this time. Nope, attack hits me anyway. I'm just like, it messes me up enough that I will end up getting hit more often because I'm so flabbergasted that I got hit the first time that I fuck up my timing on the rest of them too. I don't like it.
It's weird how the game, the dodging and parrying reminds me of most is fucking Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess what? I don't like Mario and Luigi that much.
Yeah, I don't like Superstar Saga that much. I did play a good bit of Partners in Time, and I think that is a massive improvement in every way.
That's what
But I need to finish it.
I tried Bowser's Inside Story, and I played through it a little bit, and then I went, yeah, this is pretty good. But it's a better version of a game I didn't enjoy that much, so I'm not going to finish it.
So speaking of complaints about this game, so you guys complained all throughout the main section of tonight about how many capital letter words they're giving you, and I think that's good actually.
No, I don't think it's bad. I think it's fun to make fun of.
Okay.
I think exactly.
I also don't think you, Sam, are bad, but I do like making fun of you.
Because like there's a thing that happens in fiction of all kinds where the things they don't say can be cool and you don't have to ever define it. So like the Force just being a cool thing that happens before we realized it was midichlorians, it was much cooler before than it was after, for an example. And this one just being like, oh yeah, Chroma is some sort of life force, Lumina is some sort of magic, Pictos are some sort of talisman. You just kind of thingy your way through it, and it just makes the world feel cool and lived in. It does not do it in the way that Dot Hack does it, where there are a bunch of capital letter words and there really is only bad guy, but the bad guy has like 30 words that describe him. It's very, very cool.
I don't think it works quite as well as the Force does, but the Force is it's the ultimate example of vague world building being good, although it is just the Tao.
I generally think that the way that proper nouns, whether they be for mechanics or abstract things or whatever a Nevron is or whatever, like that works, generally speaking, fairly well on the grand scale of expositing in sci-fi and fantasy. It's definitely in the better end of the scale. There are just points where they get thrown out a lot in quick succession, and like Bernard said, it's just you get the urge to make fun of it because it's a sentence that out of context just feels utterly insane. And it's not Elantris level where people have thrown me sentences from out of Elantris at random, and I say that sounds like the kind of fake fantasy book that characters in a show are reading as an example of why fantasy sucks or something like that.
Yeah, but one last thing that I have to say, have either of you watched Degrassi Junior High?
No. I'm aware of it existing, though.
So
I wasn't aware of it existing.
So in Degrassi Junior High, this was back in the 80s, and they weren't on the N, so they couldn't do a lot of Degrassi It Goes There. So to be able to do school shooting episodes, they squeaky cleaned it in other places. So when people are making fun of each other, they call each other broomheads, which makes no sense, but they call them broomheads. And when Noko shows up and Gustav calls him a broomhead in the same tone and delivery of it being a squeaky clean dirty word, it made me so happy.
But I mean, Noko, he does have a broom on his head.
He's a literal broomhead, so it's even funnier. But I cackled for a long time about broomhead.
Also, I love how Noko was like, I love the brush on your face.
Mm-hmm.
Referring to his mustache. I thought that was very funny.
I also love, just as an aside, speaking of Noko, Gustav's expedition adventure has been everything I've seen has killed me, tried to kill me, and it's broken me as a person, and I'm irreparably damaged. Maelle has made friends with monsters.
Yeah.
Several of them.
That's why she's awesome. I love her.
Her adventure is a happy-go-lucky fancy time, and Gustav.
I mean, she was on the beach. She did experience that.
True, but it just.
But she wasn't like collapsing by piles of corpses. She was making friends with Slenderman and a goblin.
I feel like we could talk about this game forever, which we have. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, let's wrap it up.
And that will do it for the week. If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations help us offset the cost of running the show. If you decide to donate $1 more a month, you'll become one of our gadabouts and also get access to our bonus feed filled with after shows for every episode as bonus seasons of the show, such as Tales of Podcastia, Escape Pod, and the JRPG Canon. If you up your donation to $5 or more a month, you can become one of our warriors and get your name read at the end of every episode. Shouts to Dragonslayer19, Freddie Rodriguez, AARon524, and JFro Prime. And if you really, really love us and you want to be a luminary, you can donate $20 or more a month and get a short one-sentence shout-out or advert read at the end of each episode, a little like this. Shoutouts to El Tantivy, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shouts to Kildranas, who says to check out Podcasters Assemble. It is a documentary-style, crowdsourced movie hype and rewatch. Every season, podcasters from around the world are assembled to review, reminisce, and riff on a popular franchise.
Normally, I would not be so strict about this, but this is what people are paying us to say, so you're going to have to do Podcasters Assemble again.
Okay. Shoutouts to Kildranas, who says to check out Podcasters Assemble. It is a documentary-style, crowdsourced movie hype and rewatch podcast. Every season, podcasters from around the world are assembled to review, reminisce, and riff on a popular franchise. Shoutouts to Vimk, who says, Crux advanced like a glacier with an agenda. And shoutouts to It's Clair Time, who says, for you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game, I just think it's neat. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.